Okay, let's try again, guys. I hope I'm on the right page now. Okay, so I don't quite know what happened there. I'm really sorry. This is a bit of a mess, isn't it? So I'm Heidi. I'm from Riverside Beads, and today I'm going to be making a tiger tail necklace. So very basic. One of the main things that you learn with jewellery making classes, that type of thing. And I'm aware that the guys that have the lovely surprise boxes, the subscription bead boxes, I'm aware that they have the findings inside the kits to make a tiger tail necklace. And if you're not sure what the findings are and all that sort of stuff, well, we'll be going over it today with this make. The piece that I'm making is a Hishi necklace. So it's just basically on tiger tail, and it's with the Hishi beads, and slightly different from the one pictured because I've put little silver beads in between my groups of colour, just so it separates them. Okay, and then the necklace fastening is here. Okay, and I've used culottes, or sometimes called, culottes, or they're sometimes called clamshells as well. So I'm using those. I'm using crimp beads, okay, which I'm sure you do get in your kits, and jump rings, and a lobster claw clasp. So that's all you need. So your wire, your culottes, jump rings, and a lobster claw clasp, and then whatever beads you want to use to make your necklace. Okay, so I've made a couple of these white ones. I'm going to give one to my daughter, but I wear a lot of black, so I've decided to make one in black, but we're still with the rainbow piece. So let's turn the camera down. Okay, so I hope you can see this well. Let me turn the lights round. Okay, so this is my reel of wire. Okay, I've cut off a section probably about the width of my mat, plus about half again. It's always better to have more than not enough. And the wire looks like this. Okay, it's very fine, so it goes through every single bead you can believe you can find, you know. It's actually 7 strands of wire that are twisted together, and then they're wrapped in like a plasticky type coating, and thermally coated plastic. So you don't actually come into contact with the wire at all, which is great. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is take our crimp, our culotte, which is this little jobby here, and he looks a bit like a clamshell, and he has 2 little cups. In between the 2 cups there's a little hole, and then there's also a little clasp. I don't know whether you can see that, but a little clasp on one side. So what we need to do is poke our tiger tail up through the little hole, and then place a crimp bead onto your wire. Okay, and then take a pair of flat nose pliers. So I've got my ones with the narrow tip so that I can grab hold of it, and just squeeze your crimp like so, and snip off close to the crimp that excess wire, and then all you're going to do very gently, you can do it with your fingers if you wish, is just squeeze those cups together like so, and then you can just give it a little tease with your pliers. So I don't know whether you can see that there. So I've just squeezed it shut. So all it looks like is a little loop with a ball underneath it. Okay, can you see the loop? Yeah. Okay, so then all I'm going to do is take 2 pairs of flat nose pliers, Okay, and then I'm just going to add my jump ring by opening it forwards and backwards. So one hand stays still, and then I move the other one back into position so that it's closed. And if you want to, you can just give it a little squeeze through the centre with your narrow pliers just to make sure it's level. And then you've got a clasp element on one end. Okay, so we're using the lovely Heishi beads, and I'm using, you can see I've already got some black ones on because it does take ages fiddling about with them. So I thought I'd get one side done. So now I'm just going to add one of my silver separators. And then I've actually got, to make enough of a pop of colour, I've actually got 9 of each colour. So the first one is red. And I'm using, I like to use odd numbers. Most jewellers tend to. And I decided 9 was sufficient to give you enough of a pop of colour for each section of the rainbow colours. Okay, so I'm just popping. You can stack them up and poke your wire through. You can pick them up individually if you want, but just do whatever feels more comfortable. And this, it doesn't have to be Heishi beads, obviously, you know, you can use any of your, and I know there were some stunning pieces from, so I know, whoops daisy, I know Donna's choice of beads for these bead boxes is absolutely beautiful, and it was really, the latest one, the necklaces on there were absolutely stunning, and they were really colours that I kind of like, you know, more earthy tones. So it really was a lovely one. And the nice thing about these bead boxes, I mean, I don't actually have them. My kind of stash at home is probably, you know, a bit too full anyway. Don't tell my husband that. So I don't really need to build up on my beads and findings, to be fair. But it's a great way of like I say, building up your collection of beads, findings. And also the thing that I think is absolutely, oops, wrong one, needs to be blue next, that's indigo. Or is it? No, that's violet. So yeah, the good thing about those bead boxes is that I'm actually absolutely amazed is the amount of instructions and projects that you get with it. You know, that's absolutely fantastic. And to be able to put those into a folder and going back to instructions to make different pieces for people, you know, it's fantastic. One of the nicest things to do is collect, you know, patterns, and a lot of places, to be fair, a lot of places, you know, charge you for patterns. So to be able to get the amount of projects that you do and patterns, and the patterns are particularly good, I have to say. Donna puts a lot of effort into those. So you literally, if you're a visual beader and you use the pictures more, there are visuals, and then there's also the written word as well. So you've got both. So depending on which sort of beader you are, you know, it covers all areas. So there's my colourful bit. So now when I do these other sides, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either count how many of the Heishi beads you use on one side and then do the same on the other, or you can do it by measurement. So I measured one side of my white necklace and it came to roughly about 6.5 inches. So, and then obviously you've got a section in the middle, and then it would be another 6.5 inches of white beads on the other side. So I decided with this one, rather than counting how many Heishi beads that I used, I was just going to measure. And what you can do obviously is put side to side next to each other, and make sure that the lengths are roughly the same. Nobody's going to sit there and count them. And these Heishi beads obviously are not like Preciosa beads where every single one is exactly the same. Some of them are slightly thinner, some of them are slightly thicker. That's the nature of them. And in the old days when Heishi beads used to be made out of shell and bone, again, some were thicker, some were thinner. So even if you go by number, sometimes that's not accurate because you might have used a lot of thin ones and the space taken up will be less. So it is actually better to just, measure the space that you've used, because you might have used like a load of thin ones, or you might have used a load of fat ones and it's too many. So it's probably better actually to just measure the length that you've got. So you can see here, I can measure and see how much more. Can you see there? I can measure and see how much more I need to add. Okay. So I believe the next bead box is due to drop soon. Can't wait to see what's in this next one. I do love seeing. I mean, I am part of the bead box special group. There's a special Facebook page for members that subscribe to our bead boxes, and that gives you tips and tricks on projects that you get in there, and I think they give you the reveal. So yeah, I do see those, and I love seeing, everybody sending in their makes, how they've done them. So you don't have to do them exactly the same as Donna has done in the projects. Obviously you can add your little flair to it, which is really nice. I also really love seeing people's colours. So I believe Donna's the colour for the week and asking you to send your creations in that colour. So I think Donna has the original white rainbow necklace. I think it's because my daughter and my husband are sat in the other room using the internet, so I'm really sorry. But yeah, Donna's got the other rainbow necklace, and if she'd like to use it as a winner's prize for one of the colours that she's doing for the week, that would be good. So that can be one of the prizes one of the weeks, whichever Donna chooses to do it on. And that's a really nice one as well. Obviously quite apt at the moment still. We still need these rainbows, don't we? Just to keep us going. So that's why I decided to do one in black, because I thought, well, yes, then I can wear one too. Oops-a-daisy. So I hope everybody's still keeping their craftiness going and keeping making. I have to... Yes, that's great. I just read Donna's comments, so yes. Yeah, give it as a giveaway, because it's a nice thing to cheer people up. If I could make them for everybody, I would, but I don't have enough Heishi beads now. I have to say, I've run out. That white necklace that I made for my sample, that used the last of my white Heishi beads, so I shall have to get some more. But if I had the time, guys, to make you all one, I would. So it's the thought that counts, isn't it? So yeah, right. So I think I'm nearly there, actually. So nearly, so just maybe 4 or 5. And I can show you how to do the final end. So, let's see. Perfect. Yep. So, let's take our clot and put that onto our wire. Let it drop down. I'm just going to trim this off because it's extra longer. And obviously it does depend on what length you're going to have for your piece. this actually comes out at, I think it's about 18 inches. Oops. So let's grab our pliers. So I'm just going to move it over here and squeeze that little crimp. And I haven't pushed the beads down really tightly because you want a little bit of movement on them. If it's too tight, it puts too much pressure on the crimps and then you risk it sort of coming undone, popping undone. You don't want to put too much strain on it. So then close your little culotte or clamshell. And then I'm going to pick up my jump ring and also a cap hair. I'm going to pop on my little lobster claw clasp, pick up my clamshell, pop it on, and then just reverse that jump ring. And then if it's sitting nice and level, just give it a little tiny tap with the pliers. And then we've got a lovely new necklace. So let's put it on the bust to show you. Let's turn that one off a minute. There you go, there's my necklace. So you can see the colours there better. I do like putting those spaces in between because it just differentiates all the different colours, and particularly where you've got the indigo and the violet, because they do look very similar if you just sit them next to each other. Okay, and these look absolutely fabulous on bracelets as well. So just plain elastic bracelets, which you probably have elastic in your kits as well. So here's some elastic ones that I've done. This one, obviously, some of you will have seen this one. This one comes with a necklace that is on black cotton cord. I think the silver really makes it. I think it makes it pop out more. So this one is double stranded so that you can add on the little piece in the centre, which has two little loops, one either side. And this one is just elastic again. So all elastic bracelets, really simple. But I love these Heishi beads because they're nice and light. And you don't need many of them to give that pop of colour. So you don't have to put in a massive amount of them. You only need, I mean, I've put 9 of each colour in, and that is sufficient to give it a good pop of colour. Right, I'm really sorry, guys, for the problems before with the internet and stuff. I don't know what was going on with it today. I don't make it look easy. It is easy, honestly. It's really simple. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Right, I'm going to say goodbye, guys, because I know I keep dropping out and it must be annoying you. I shall see you again in 2 weeks' time for another one, and I don't know what I'm doing yet. It'll be a nice surprise for you guys. I hope you enjoy the next bead box, and if there's anything else in the bead box that you would like an extra little bit of support with, then let Donna know, and perhaps we can incorporate something else like findings that you've got within your kit. Okay, bye everybody. Thank